Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in to the first of many hyper-conscious speeches. I spoke on cultivating confidence. It is something that is very near and dear to my heart because without me cultivating confidence, this wouldn't be a thing. This studio wouldn't be a thing. This podcast wouldn't be a thing. I wouldn't be doing a lot of the things I'm doing, so it is something that means the world to me, and I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope to add as much value as possible.
I want to give a huge shout out to Joyce Strong for making all of this possible. We are already planning another one in Boston in potentially October. I also want to give a huge shout out to Kevin. This was his first speech, but he absolutely crushed it. And just remember, you are capable of everything Kevin and I are capable of. I also spoke on how to look as good on the outside as you are on the inside. If you want to create the physique of your dreams, I'm going to tell it to you like it is in this speech. It's a lot of content, but it's going to change your life because I'm not sugarcoating any of the truth. I'm telling you like it is.
Yeah, if you like the podcast, you'll like these because it's us preaching, and we're talking about what really matters to us. So sit back, grab some popcorn, grab a friend, and enjoy.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
So hello everybody, just want to do a quick introduction. You can continue eating and having tea and coffee and all that after, but I just wanted to get the talking part of the show on the road here. So I am Joyce Strong, and I founded Confident Women Consortium to bring us together. So a place for us to meet and create confidence through celebration and community. So when you come to a group like this, I really encourage you to get up and move around, change your seats, try to meet new people. It's great to come with someone who you know, but make a point of going out and meeting new people. That's what this is about. So it's not formal networking, but you just never know who's in this room. And I guarantee you there's someone in here who can help you in some way and to grow in confidence or just practice, your conversation. I really wanted to do this for me to build my own confidence. So I tend to be an introvert, a little shy, and the clients I work with as a nurse and as a performance and functional nutrition coach with Total Well Coach. And I saw a lot of people come in to me for food, wanting to improve their diets and wanting to improve their lives in general ways, but behind that was always building their confidence to be able to make life changes. So that's why we're here. It's just, and come when you can. We always have fabulous speakers. Some of our former speakers or future speakers are in this room, so make sure you get around and say hello. And tonight we have Kevin Palmieri and Alan Lazarus from the Hyperconscious podcast. We met perchance in a bar.
Yes, we did.
And I just picked these guys up. And I'll just leave it at that.
Sure.
The rest is mystery. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for enjoying the food. And we'll have some Q&A at the end. We'll hang around as long as you want to hang around. And go for it.
Right on. Thank you for the introduction. I appreciate it. All right, ladies and gents, so before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to Joyce because, again, this event would not happen without her. She outworks most people I know, especially young people like me. Age is but a number. I'm very proud of you, and you're incredibly inspirational. So can we just give her a quick round of applause? Also, your glasses are up here. Do you need these? It's not the way. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I will be talking to you. Can everybody hear me all right? I'm fairly loud, so I think we'll be all right. I'm going to be talking about cultivating confidence, okay? Before I do, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. So, who am I? I am the host and the creator of the Hyperconscious podcast. I am a one-on-one peak performance coach, and I'm a speaker as well. Now, 2 years ago, I wouldn't be caught dead in this room, never mind up here talking to you guys. I was not the person I am today. I didn't have any confidence. I didn't have any self-esteem. I didn't have any clue what I wanted to do with my life. Things were not good for me. So, some people have the misfortune of hitting rock bottom. I have the misfortune of finding out that rock bottom has a basement, and I did not want to live there. So, in 2015, by all outside standards, I was living the dream. I had a beautiful girlfriend. I had the body of my dreams. I had a high-paying job. I had a brand new apartment, a brand new sports car, but inside I was truly living a nightmare. I was not happy with who I am. Now the problem was I never had to face that because I had so much external validation that it didn't matter if I was confident because everybody thought I was. I know Alan used to say, like, you're a badass. Yeah, maybe at the gym. I'm confident at the gym. I spend so many hours there, right? So 2015, everything changed for me. I got a very bad breakup. I went through a very bad breakup with my girlfriend, and then everything came to the surface. I no longer had the external validation. I didn't have the beautiful girlfriend, and nothing else really mattered. Okay, so the next year, I was focused on making money. That's the only thing I cared about. I said, look, instead, for some reason, of diving into personal development, I dove into developing my wallet, and I did. That year, I made 6 figures with no college degree. I traveled up and down the East Coast as a construction foreman for 10 out of 12 months. Stinky hotel to stinky hotel. It was not fun. But I did what I said I wanted to do. And I made the money. And I was happy with that. Now, the next year, it was really starting to look the same. I was grinding, I was working, I was traveling. I ran the biggest job in our company's history in Virginia, over 100 buildings. I was the guy. I was the go-to guy. Everything changed when I started this podcast. Okay? I started the podcast in 2017. Now, it was rolling. Everything was great. But I had to decide between the podcast and my job. And at this point, I was getting very, very sad working and traveling. I couldn't have relationships with my friends. I couldn't hold down a girlfriend because I was never home. I couldn't see my family. And my life, I was basically home for 2 days a week, right? And sometimes it was only 1. So I had to make a decision. Now, I'll never forget the moment where I transitioned. Okay, I don't care about making money anymore. I care about this podcast. I care about changing the world. I care about influencing and inspiring others. So my rock bottom basement moment was I was sitting in a hotel somewhere in crusty New Jersey. Nothing against New Jersey if anybody's from it. And I was sitting on the edge. I was sitting on the edge of the bed. It was 5:45 in the morning, and all I could think to myself was, Kevin, this would be so much easier if you were dead. And I'll never forget that moment because it was the worst moment of my entire life, but it was the best moment of my entire life because that's the day I found my purpose. That's the day I found my passion. So, my passion and my purpose is to be the person I needed when I was at my lowest point. Okay? If somebody just reached out to me and said, Kevin, it's all going to be fine. Kevin, other people have gone through this. Then I think that would have helped me. Would I have listened? I don't know. I don't know. But that's my goal. I want to be the person I needed when I was hopeless, when I was helpless, when I felt alone, and when I felt damaged. And ever since that day, so a couple months later, I quit my job. I left my job. I had no plan B. Alan and I went at this full speed. Matt, I live with Matt, my best friend. He supports the dream. So it's been an interesting ride, but it's the best thing I ever did. And that's why I'm here today. I need to be the person. I don't even want to. I do, but I need to be the person that I needed. That is what keeps me up. That's what gets me going. Guys, I am terrified of speaking in front of people. The only reason I'm doing it is because somebody out there needs to hear it. So that's why I'm here today. And I appreciate you guys coming out too, because I don't know, what confidence means to you, but this is out of a lot of people's comfort zones. To come into a room with people you don't know, you might be sitting next to somebody you don't know. I might call on you for a question. That's a whole thing too. So that is what we're getting into here. All right, so as with success, as with love, as with a successful relationship, what does confidence actually mean to you? The definition in the dictionary is full trust, belief in the powers, trustworthiness or reliability of a person or thing, belief in oneself, in one's powers or abilities, self-confidence. I hate when they use the word in the definition, self-reliance or assurance. So my question to you is, what does confidence actually mean to you? Okay? Is it walking up to somebody and having a conversation? Is it confidence in your body, which Alan is going to talk about? What does confidence actually mean to you? I want each and every one of you to think of that. My goal is not necessarily to inspire you or motivate you. My goal is to get you to think. I want you to think about things that you've maybe been hiding from or things that you just haven't asked yourself. That's my goal in this presentation. So why cultivating confidence? Why isn't it growing or gaining? Just like a plant, it's like a seed. It's something that you have to water every single day. You have to commit and say, look, I am going to cultivate confidence, even when it's difficult. I could have turned this down, but I need to do this because I want to be the most confident version of myself. You guys all have excuses on why you don't have to do things, but it's your choice to decide. If you commit to something greater than yourself, I want to be confident for this. You need a reason to cultivate confidence. All right, so Alan and I created this. This is the Drive to 5. So As I'm going through this presentation, I just want you to use this as a measurement of where you are in regards to self-confidence and self-esteem. How do I use this thing? Wow, would you look at that? All right, so this whole thing came about because I was here and Alan was there, okay? It's a match made in heaven. So I had zero confidence. Again, it looked like I had confidence. I was just really good at faking it. I was always afraid to ask for help because I didn't feel like I had any value. Why would you want to help me? I don't bring anything to the table. I was always afraid to start because I assumed automatically I would fail. Pessimistic naturally because, again, I assumed the worst. And this is the biggest one, guys. If you're low on the drive to 5, you need action to gain confidence. You do. Because you're going, and I have a slide for this later, but you're going to tell yourself a story. We all tell ourselves stories. Some of them are right. Some of them are wrong. Some of them are very wrong. And that's where you get lost. And if you don't take action, you won't get feedback. If you don't get feedback, you can't tweak your approach. So Alan was over here. Confident without results. I'll never forget when Matt and I said, Alan, you're fat. You're going to lose your fitness show. And he said, nope. And he got smoked at the fitness show. I felt bad, but it had to happen. But he was confident without results, right? Some would say arrogant, but that's not because he was an arrogant person. It's just that's the way he is wired, right? He didn't think he needed help from Matt and myself, who were both bodybuilders. We'd both done it already, right? We knew. Somebody who's high on the drive to 5, like a level 10, they might have a perfection bias. Guys, there's no such thing as perfect. If you're waiting to release something until it's perfect, you most likely will never release it. Because if you're over here, you also have a high drive and you're trying to get better. So by the time you're ready to release it, you'll look back and say, it's kind of garbage now because I've learned so much. True? Fact. Very optimistic, sometimes overly optimistic. And just like over here, they need action to be humbled. They need to realize, oh, wow, my shit does stink. I'm not as good as I said I was. I'm not as good as I thought I was. So Alan and I came up with this because this is where you want to be. You want to know that you don't know everything, but you can figure it out. You can figure it out if you try. And you want to be able to take advice. You want to be able to get mentors. You want to release stuff. You want to be optimistic, but you want to be realistic too. Okay? This is my favorite slide. Okay, so number 1, I'm going to give you 5 steps. Get around confident people. If you want to get good at football, who do you hang out with? Football players, right? If you want to get in better shape, who do you hang out with? Thank you. People who work out, right, exactly. So I think the biggest problem with people who lack confidence is they want to hang out with people who lack confidence too. Why? Because you don't want too much contrast. But the key is you'll never get better. If you're the most confident person in a room at all times, you're not forced to grow. And if you're not forced to grow, you don't have a reason to. So you most likely won't. Finding mentors. This is one of the biggest things for Alan and I. This has been the biggest game changer. We have unbelievably successful mentors. We have unbelievably successful people on the podcast. That makes us more confident. If you believe in me and you're a multimillionaire, how can I not believe in myself? If you have the life I want and you say I can have it too, how can I not believe in myself? How can I not? Don't mistake confidence for arrogance. That was, again, the point that I was making is don't assume that somebody's arrogant because they have more confidence than you. Maybe they are, but don't let that stop you from trying to get in the room. Shoot high. Aim for somebody way more confident than you, and it will rub off, I guarantee it. Can confidence be borrowed? Anybody have an answer? Do you guys think confidence can be borrowed? Yes? Of course you would answer. Yes? Okay. So I'm going to play this slide, and I want you guys to, and then I'll explain it after. But let's see if I can do this. Oh my good God. Right. Everything's going perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, what are you doing to fear chase on a daily basis? Amy and I are fear chasing. I'm riding an elephant. Amy's riding a giraffe. And hold on. See if I can do this. I can. Hammer it. Spin around. Fear chasing. You got to do stuff that makes you uncomfortable because being uncomfortable is the key to growth.
This was early in my speaking career. So can confidence be borrowed? You might look at that and say, wow, you must have had so much confidence to ride around the mall and do something that many people wouldn't do. In fact, I almost canceled that event. I almost canceled doing that. So this young lady, Amy, Emily knows her, they're friends. She reached out to me via Snapchat and said, I have a fear of approaching people in public. Guess what? Me too. But I have a podcast that says I am going to be the most influential person in the world. I have to say yes to this. Okay? So these two here, my Lord again, times two. These two here, can confidence be borrowed and be the most confident person in a situation? Amy borrowed my confidence to get on that zoo animal and drive around the mall. But I also borrowed the fact that I was the most confident person in that situation. I had to. I signed my name on that line and said, look, we're going to go do this. My reputation was there. Okay, this was the beginning for me. After that night, she texted me and said, I just want to thank you because you changed my life. I texted her back and said, guess what? You changed mine too. Because I learned something about myself. I learned that I'm far more capable of what I'm presenting. So that changed my life just as much, if not more, than it changed hers. All right, get familiar. Why do you think you're confident around certain people? Because you are familiar with them. You know what to expect. You know they're not going to judge you. You know what they think. You know how they react to certain situations, right? You're familiar with them. That's why, you're sitting with the people that you know, because it's comfortable. It's certain. You have certainty around it. The key here is you have to remove some uncertainty, okay? When you're starting something new, if you do a little bit of research, it's going to help you tremendously. Don't go down the rabbit hole, because then you're going to find every single bit of research and you might get overwhelmed. But if you were to come up to me and say I want to start a podcast, what do? I would give you a list of a couple things. I had somebody reach out today. Do I need a studio? What equipment do I need? Do I need a name? Do I need an avatar? Do I need all these things? No, you just need to get started. Just get started. That is the key. Okay? Confidence grows with competence. The reason you're confident in certain arenas of your life is because you're competent there. The things that you're good at, you feel confident doing. That's natural. The problem is we focus on those and we don't do anything else. We don't get out of our comfort zone and try to master something else. I'm very good in front of the microphone, podcasting. This is a new arena for me. I will become more competent and confident as I practice. So Clark Kent versus Superman. Why is this on here? I will never forget the day that I told Alan I feel like Superman in the gym, but I feel like Clark Kent in real life. Why? Again, I spent 10,000 hours in the gym. I've been to a gym in probably 10 different states. I went to England. The first thing I did was go to the gym. I've been to gyms all over the place. But I've put my 10,000 hours in there. I haven't put my 10,000 hours in networking or speaking or whatever it is. That's the thing. We have to expand our horizons. We have to try new things. Get familiar with your fears and your insecurities. Alan and I did a course on our website recently about this, okay? Alan looks like he's eating the marker. Not a great screenshot. Thanks for that, man. You're welcome. So there's not a person in here who doesn't have a fear. Every single one of us has fears, okay? For the longest time, I had an unbelievable fear of flying. I was terrified of flying. I didn't want to do it. I used to tell myself a story. This was the story I was telling myself, my limiting belief. I don't care about travel. Travel's not for me. I don't care if I see nice places. It doesn't matter, okay? What you have to do is reverse engineer regret. What is the result I will get if I keep practicing this? I will never travel. I will have regret, and I won't have any experience. I can tell you wholeheartedly, my life wouldn't be nearly the same if I didn't get over that fear. I wouldn't be up here in front of you guys. It just wouldn't happen. It just simply wouldn't happen. We all have those things. This is another one of mine. Being short. I don't like being short. Not a fan. Joyce knows. So for the longest time, it would hold me back. It would hold me back from how can I be a successful speaker? I'm short. Nobody's going to respect me. How can I have a beautiful girlfriend? I'm short. She wants somebody tall. If I did that and I stayed on that track for my entire life, I would have ended up alone with missed opportunities, or somebody would have came along, but that's not repeatable. That's luck. Okay? Everybody sucks at first. I guarantee some of us look like this. Boop. So, it's the cutest thing ever. Confident. Alan told me to delete that, and I said no. I won't do it. I won't. So confidence comes through evidence, but lack of confidence does too. The more you do something, I knew I should have had it pause at some point. The more you do something, the more confident you're going to become. We already said that. What is your why power? What is your why power? If your son or daughter was stuck in a burning building, you would run in there, right? If there was a $20 bill, you wouldn't. Why power. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's why. The longer you do something, the more competent you will become. Again, we have to understand that you have to start. Something is holding you back from starting. If it's the fear of failure, we can get over that. You will learn as you go. That's part of the journey. And how many of us, when we first got behind the wheel of a car, were good at driving? Any of us? Probably not. You were? I believe that. I believe that. I'll never forget the first time I got behind the wheel of my mother's 2001 Chevy Cavalier, and I thought to myself, my goodness, every single person must be a NASCAR driver, because this is unbelievable. I don't even know how this works. How do I stay on this side of the road? The gas and brakes, the whole thing. Now I drove here and I didn't even think of it. We do things every day that at one point we were terrified of. And fail forward. This is probably the biggest thing that Alan and I preach. You're going to fail. It's part of life. It's part of life. But there's no such thing as failure until it's final, until you quit. When you quit, you don't get another chance. But if you're failing, then you're learning and you're getting feedback. You can make adjustments. It's not the end of the road unless you choose for it to be. So, this is what I call the confidence conundrum. I created this probably like a week ago. Right. So I know it super well. So this is what happens if you lack confidence, okay? It's pretty simple. Anytime you go into an event, how many people knew exactly what was going to happen here tonight? Probably nobody. We were all uncertain. We all had uncertainty of results. If you don't have confidence, uncertainty of results will breed lack of action, okay? Lack of action automatically means lack of results unless it's by luck. And again, luck is not repeatable, okay? When you have lack of results, that thus proves to yourself that I'm not confident. And this is a conundrum. This is where I lived my life for 28 years. For 28 years of my life, this is what would happen. And I would always have stories of why you're not good enough and why you shouldn't go talk to that person. But what happens when we take the same thing and we throw in belief or confidence? You're still going to be uncertain. But the biggest difference here is this. You have the belief and you take the action. Taking the action is the only thing that's going to matter as long as you can weather the storm. Okay, so let's just use this for instance. What's the difference between this and this when it comes to me approaching my girlfriend? If I see her out somewhere and I say, wow, she's beautiful, I should go talk to her. What is the difference between me walking up to her and saying, wow, those glasses look really good on you, and me saying, should have done it, and leaving and regretting it? Belief. It's the only difference. It's the only difference. So when you get the belief and you take the action, you will get results. There's no results here. You can work with results. You can work with them. And this is where failing forward comes in. It's okay if it doesn't go right. The results are not as important as the action. I tell people that all the time, my clients. I'm afraid of this. Go do it anyway. The results don't matter. The results are something that you wouldn't have gotten if you didn't do it in the first place, right? So it takes action. If you can take action, you can figure it out, you can get feedback, make the necessary changes. And when you get this and you learn to fail forward, it's then proof of the fact that it didn't kill me. This thing that I was so afraid of didn't kill me. Alan knows, Matt knows. I approached a very beautiful girl at the gym. Taryn, this was long before you. And I got rejected outright. Life goes on. It's not the end of the world. Because now I know. I know it's not going to happen, right? It's not the end of the world. Start small. So I talked about this a little bit before. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Lao Tzu said that. What do you actually need to get started? Okay? I'm going to tell you a story about me and Matt. So, I live with Matt. We think we're pretty handy. We're pretty handy. Yeah, we're pretty handy. And we had to put a new light on the front of the house. Okay? We bought the light, and then we didn't do it for 6 weeks. So, what if it needs new wiring? That's the whole thing. Let's not do it. Let's play Call of Duty. What if it was cold one day? We'll wait till tomorrow. It's supposed to be warmer. What if this? What if that? What if this? It literally took us 20 minutes. It was the easiest thing ever. So what happened? We were paralyzed by analysis. We were literally thinking over and over, what will this consist of? How long will it take? Sometimes you just got to start. You just got to start. A lot of people deal with overwhelm. I think everybody deals with it differently. But overwhelm isn't always just too many tasks. Sometimes it's too little clarity. You could have 5 things to do and 5 days to do them. If you don't know why you're doing them or the order in which you're doing them, you're going to feel overwhelmed. So break it down. Break it down to smaller things. And you don't know what you don't know. Focus more on I can learn this and less on I don't know this. You'll learn as you go. Alan and I just crossed the 180 episode mark on our podcast. If we stopped at episode 20, we would not have known what we would have learned from 20 to 40, from 40 to 60, 60 to 80, and so on. We have learned so much in the past 3 months. If we quit, we would have assumed we couldn't have done it. But we are doing it. This wouldn't be happening. All the things in my life right now would not be happening if I quit, right? So you have to understand, I can learn this. That's what confidence is. Confidence is knowing that you can figure it out. Brendan Burchard says that. Fear chase. I lied. This is actually my favorite one. So, if every single one of us did 25 things over the next month that scared us, I guarantee your life would change. I guarantee it. Especially if things went better than expected, which most likely they would. Why? Because when you start chasing your fears, you literally get a new lease on life. Okay? Your comfort zone is really your confidence zone. The things you are comfortable doing, you're confident doing. That's it. When people say expand their comfort zones, what they mean is get more confident in other arenas. Okay? If you're confident in the gym like I was, cool, now it's time to go do something else. Now it's time to go speak. Now it's time to podcast. Now it's time to go on dates. Now it's time to do this, whatever it is for you in your life. Fear can either be a boundary at which your growth ends or a catalyst from which new growth expands. Imagine this, we're all in a field and there's a fence around all of us, okay? That's your life. Your fears are that fence. When you walk up to that fence and you bump into it, you either say, oh, I'm afraid of that, let me take a step back. Now you're stuck. That's where you live. Or you jump on the other side of that fence and you realize there is a whole new life outside of this. I am capable of far more than I'm demonstrating. Again, it's not the result that matters, it's the act of chasing the fear. Leverage your why power. So, I have a video, another one. I'm the video guy. Here we go. I'm going to get it on the first try this time. Look at that. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the most surreal weekend of my entire life. Overlooking Scottsdale, Arizona, the realest podcast ever. I can't tell you guys. Look at this. I'm tearing up here thinking about it. I can't even fathom the week I've had. I didn't know I could do this. I didn't believe I could do this. I didn't believe I could do any of this. I didn't believe I was good enough for this. Guys, you can do whatever the you want. Whatever you're willing to
Just for the kids in the room. All right, so this was after Alan and I got invited to Brendan Burchard's High Performance Academy. It was in Arizona. I was terrified of flying, okay? We first flew down to Florida to meet up with one of our mentors. I was having constant anxiety attacks. I was laying on the floor in the bathroom thinking I was going to die. And I was okay with it because at least I'm chasing my fears, okay? That was the hardest week of my entire life. It was the hardest week of my entire life. The only reason I was able to get through that is my why power. I will not stop. I never quit is tattooed to me for a reason. I will not stop. I need to accomplish this. My why power is so great that I'm willing to do the things that I'm scared of. I'm willing to do the things that other people won't. I'm willing to stay up all night and work. But it's just because I have the why power. You guys have to figure out what is worth overcoming fear. What is worth gaining confidence? What is worth getting in shape? What is worth starting the business? What is it? It's something for each and every one of us. You just have to figure out what it is. Okay? Is this going to work? The biggest difference, this is my quote, the biggest difference between the person you are and the version of yourself you want to be is your habits. Why does that matter? Because confidence is a habit. Just like fitness is a habit. Just like saving money is a habit. It's not what you do, it's who you become. That allows you to get to your goal. It allows you to get to your dream life. So who do you have to become? I guarantee it's a more confident version of yourself. Maybe it's you walking into your boss's office and saying, hey, I've been really putting in a lot of work. I feel like I deserve a raise. Maybe it's having a tough conversation with a loved one. Look, you made me feel this way, and I want to be open, honest, and vulnerable with you. Okay? It's something for everybody in this room. Everybody has a different habit that they need to build around confidence. I cannot tell you what the chances of you succeeding at any endeavor are. I can't. But I can tell you 100% that it's zero if you don't try. If you do not try, nothing will change. And it's harsh at times to say that, but sometimes it's what you need to hear. It's not going to change by accident. And if it does, you're not going to be in control of it. It's not repeatable. We are all going to end up somewhere. I truly, truly, truly want each and every one of you to end up where you choose. Okay, a lot of us are living by accident. just meandering around, bumping into things and saying, well, that doesn't fit, that doesn't fit. I want you to live on purpose. When you start living on purpose, you start doing things for the right reasons. You start helping others. You start living for a greater purpose, right? Stop living by accident and start living on purpose and decide where you want to end up. Brian Tracy quote, Alan will respect that. Confidence is a habit that can be developed by acting as if you already had the confidence you desire to have. I do not believe in faking it till you make it. I think it's a dangerous game because what they don't tell you is the pain associated with growth. It's not fake it till you make it. You just have to keep practicing. Practice makes progress, not perfect. All right, so my questions for you. When you leave this room tonight, I would like you to ask yourself these 5 questions. Who has the level of confidence I desire, and how can I get around them? Mentors, friends, family, bosses, whoever it may be. What are my blind spots? What are the things that I'm afraid of that I am hiding from? What are the things that are really holding me back that I need to look and face head on and make changes accordingly? What are my whys? I told you my why. To be the person I needed when I was at the lowest point. Also to have the most successful podcast of all time, not just for a life of freedom for myself, but to prove to countless others they can have whatever life that they're willing to work for. So what is it for you? Is it a child? Is it a future? Is it a husband? Is it work? Is it a charity? Whatever it is for you, you got to figure that out. Is this something I'm willing to learn? Again, it's not I can't figure this out, it's I can learn as I go. So is it something that you're willing to put in the effort on? And what can I do every week to fear chase? Guys, I firmly believe this is the most important thing. I genuinely do. I do things all the time that I don't want to. I genuinely don't want to get on a plane, but I have to. I don't want to have tough conversations, but I have to. We're going to Toronto next week to talk to one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world in person. I'm terrified. I've never been to Toronto. I don't know how to read those signs if they're in French. I don't even know. You know? And we're going to rent a car. I got to tell them I'm taking it out of the country. Yeah, I'm nervous about all of it. What's up? You have to say Toronto. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, that's it for me, guys. All right, so if you're looking for one-on-one mindset coaching, you can email me, kevin@thehyperconsciouspodcast.com. We just started a private Facebook group, Hyperconscious Nation. So we're trying to grow a group of people who are like-minded, who want to get better, who want to evolve, and they want to help others, most importantly. And then that's me there, right there. That's me. And there's Alan over there. So the Hyperconscious Podcast, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. We talk about all of these types of things. We have the most successful entrepreneurs in the world on to talk about, again, pull back the curtain. I want to know what really made you successful. I don't want to know about like the stuff that people, talk about all the time. I want to ask the real questions. And I think that's it for me. Thank you, guys. I didn't hit the timer, so I don't know how long it was.
Also, thank you to Joyce for setting this up. Thank you so much. Now, for all of you, if you have any questions after this is going to be heavy content. I'm trying to condense 4 years of fitness knowledge into 30 minutes. It's definitely going to be more than 30 minutes, but I've got the timer going. So the slide deck we will make available to anyone who joins the Hyperconscious Nation. We're actually recording this, and I also have this mic. I'm mic'd up too, so don't worry if you miss some stuff. But I'm going to go quick, and I'm going to dump everything I've got on you guys. All right, so how to look as good on the outside as you are on the inside. Kevin talked about cultivating confidence from within. I want you guys to appear confident and be confident in your bodies. So today, be selfish. This PowerPoint is going to make it seem like it's about me. It's not. It's about you. I want you to be selfish today. Learn as much as you can, because if you fill your own cup, you can use that to serve the world. Give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. The fitness industry is trying to give you fish, but it's not teaching you anything. And that's the problem. I want to teach you how to actually execute. The person who knows how to do something will always have a job. The person who knows why to do something is always going to be their boss. You've probably heard that quote before. I want you to know why to take action and what to do. How many people in here want to learn how to fish when it comes to fitness? Create the physique of their dreams. There we go, a little engagement. All right. So who am I? My name is Alan Lazarus. I'm a podcaster. Speaker, fitness model, all that kind of stuff. That's what I do. It's not who I am. But what I can tell you is this. I'm going to tell you a quick story. So I was up in New Hampshire probably 3.5 to 4 years ago.
and I was in a car. This is the man that I used to be. Drank too much and too often, did not take my health seriously. And this is actually not that long ago, believe it or not. Now, this person was on the Drive to 5 that Kevin showed, who was arrogant but had no results, okay? Now, I was up in New Hampshire, and I'm driving to TGI Fridays with my little cousin in the car, and I came to a three-way fork. The road stayed right. I thought it stayed left. I didn't yield, and I saw a lift-kitted truck in front of me with the brightest lights I've ever seen, and I thought that was going to be it. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I lost my father when I was 2 years old in a car accident. I was 26 years old, and this shook the snow globe for me. This was when I became hyper-conscious. Because you ask yourself the tough questions when you lose a loved one or a pet or almost your own life. Kevin's moment was the suicide thing in New Jersey. That's when you question yourself. How fiercely did I love? How courageously did I chase what I believe in? There's a book by Bronnie Ware called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. If you've never read it, please do. She worked in hospice to take care of people that were terminally ill. I found this book after the snow globe was shaken, and basically what she realized is her real job was to listen. And everyone said, I wish, I wish, I wish. I have a flashcard in my pocket with the top 5 regrets of the dying. Number 1 is I wish I lived a life true to myself and not what others expected of me. Okay, so many of us are seeking external validation instead of doing what's in our own heart. And I want to stop that for all of us today. Okay, so that was a wake-up call for me. Snow globe got shaken. Everything I thought I knew, I had to reconsider. Post-traumatic stress disorder is something that we talk about a lot, but I don't think we talk enough about post-traumatic growth. So whether it's the bed in New Jersey considering suicide, like Kevin just mentioned, or me getting in that car accident, realizing that my father lost his life at 28, and that almost just happened to me, that could have been it. I had to reevaluate my life. This is the phoenix from the ashes type of thing. Okay, don't wait till it's too late to take your health seriously. This is a big deal. If you treat your life casually and your health casually, you could end up a casualty. So, you cannot see the stars during the day. They are always there, but sometimes it takes the darkness to see clearly what you simply couldn't within the light. I normally wear a true north star around my neck. I lost it in the lake doing a front flip off the dock this past weekend. I've already ordered another one. But that's a reminder to me, I want to be the brightest star in the sky for when people are in the dark, they're going to see me. They're going to see fitness. They're going to see inspiration, motivation, education. They're going to see Kevin. They're going to see the podcast. People who come to us are the ones in pain. So I made a decision that day. Never again am I going to do what others expect of me. I'm going to do what's in my heart. I'm going to actually be a model. I'm going to actually be a speaker. I'm actually going to chase my dreams. Okay, I want today to be that day for you. And that's my goal, to persuade you to stop doing the normal and to start living your best self. So why am I here? Not to entertain you. I'm here to educate you. And I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. Most of what I say is not what you want to hear because fitness is so damn hard. And the whole industry is trying to tell you it's easy to sell you something. So I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. This is the fitness industry. There's always a pill or a quick fix or a 21-day challenge. All of that stuff is gimmickry. There is no short road to the physique of your dreams. Health is every day, and the rent is due every day. So, what makes the difference between this person, who was miserable, and again, like Kevin, no one knew it, and this person, who inspired his entire family and all of his friends with his hard effort? What's the difference between this person and this person? That was taken this weekend, actually. Great day. And that's Bianca. Alan A. was unhappy, unhealthy, unattractive, weak, incapable, no self-discipline, no self-esteem, no work ethic, and no standards. I empathize with anyone in here who is not happy with their body because I know what it's like, and it sucks. I'm now happy, healthy, attractive, strong, capable. I have self-discipline, I have work ethic, I have high self-esteem. I didn't before, even though everyone thought I did because I was on that end of Drive to 5. How many people in here are sick of being person A and actually want to take their health and fitness seriously for the first time maybe ever? And I know this is heavy stuff.
Oh, come on, raise your hand.
Let's go. Okay, so the truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. This is Winston Churchill. Now, the world is showing you the physical, the results.
but they're not showing you the mental, emotional, and spiritual things underneath that create the physical. And the fitness industry and marketing is showing you all of the physical, but they're not showing you the strategies, the emotional mastery, and the faith. To me, faith is belief in something you cannot see yet. When I was that person who drank too much and too often, I saw this physique that I have now. I want you to see something and believe in it so strongly that you're willing to actually take action toward it and then adjust along the way. So, whether we are aware of it or not, all success that you see on the outside is actually a byproduct of something far deeper. If you want to change the fruit on the top of the tree, which the whole world is bombarding you with, especially the fitness industry, then you have to go to the root and actually learn how to do it. That's why I'm here. Okay. How can you expect to do well if you don't feel well? Now, this is one of the most important concepts I've ever learned in my life. This is what I refer to as the upward spiral of success or the downward spiral of failure. And this is very similar to what Kevin described about those two cycles. Now, I do realize it looks like I did this in crayon, so I apologize up front, but this concept is the whole game. So, state, if you wake up in the morning feeling like $1 million, you're going to tell yourself empowering stories. And then you're going to have good strategies, you're going to take more action, and you're going to have better results, and then that's going to change your state. So who here has ever woke up in the morning hungover? Never. Okay. For me personally, when I wake up hungover, I wake up feeling like crap. How productive are you that day? And this is nothing against alcohol, but if you have disempowering states, you're going to tell yourself disempowering stories. You're not going to strategize. You're going to take less action. We've all stayed in bed all day after hungover. You're going to take less action. You're going to get less results. And then that's going to reinforce you having a negative state. Here's the problem with fitness. The old person that I used to be, even on a good day, maybe my 4 now of peak state was my old 10. My worst day today, I feel better health and physiologically than I did at a 10 back then. Imagine what you could do with that in every area of your life, how your relationships would be, your intimacy, all of that stuff. So this is the whole game right here. I want to change this part, because if you wake up feeling like a superhero, you're going to tell yourself empowering stories, have superhero strategies, take superhero action, and get superhero results, and that's going to reinforce feeling like a superhero. And that's your identity. Okay. This is why the happy get happier. This is why the rich get richer, and this is why the in shape get more in shape. Kevin and I have interviewed some of the most successful people in the world. The most important thing for us is that they have a big heart and they care about others. But I can tell you for sure that this cycle is something they have momentum on. Not always in fitness, but certainly financially. Okay, the top 3 reasons why your health is everything. Reason number 1, without it you have nothing. So I don't know if anyone in here has ever been ill to the point where they couldn't function, but if you've ever been there, it's a very powerless place to be. It sucks. It's the worst. I remember I was out for 2 months in high school, and I was still trying to get straight A's, and I had to quit all my sports, and it was one of the most depressing times in the world. Now, in hindsight, I look back and I realize my state was disempowering. I was telling myself disempowering stories. I wasn't strategizing and taking action, and then I was reaffirming my own belief that I suck. Okay? Now, you don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to be in shape. No one has to. You get to. We have friends. Where's Kevin? Is Kevin in here? Oh, Kev, what's up, man? We have people who have come on the podcast, Isabella Picard, Eric LeGrand. They're paralyzed. They can't go to the gym. So we don't have to, we get to. So I'll tell you a quick story here. So this is my actually ex-girlfriend, Jenny. We were in New York City last year. I took her there for her birthday. Great night. Everything was good. We had a little tiff because we were in this back alley that I thought was dangerous, and I was in an unresourceful state. We had a little tiff. The next morning, I wanted to go to the gym to get back into a peak state. And I'll never forget, I was trying to PR in squats, and right at the bottom of the lift, my knee almost gave out. And I knew I was like, oh, I almost just messed things up. I went from dissatisfied, frustrated, and pissed off to, oh my God, thank God I can lift. In an instant. I went from, I have to be here, to I get to be here. And all that changed was my perception. So that's something that I think is absolutely critical. Okay, so I have a flashcard in my pocket right now that always says this, and it's a note to self. Never forget that someone is in a hospital bed right now begging God for the opportunity that you have in this moment.
We don't have to go to the gym. We don't have to eat healthy. We don't have to take our health seriously. We get to. And if we shift that, we will stop. I always say this, if you're grateful for your gifts, don't just say it, prove it by developing your gifts. Reason number 2, you are a walking billboard. People don't like this one. I told you out of the gate that some of the things I'm going to say you might not want to hear, but it is true. There's confidence. I picked this specifically to follow Kevin. But there's something called thin slicing. So there's a book called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell that talks about our brain's ability to do thin slicing. In other words, we can make snap judgments very, very quickly. And at the beginning of a first impression, and that's the next part, that's a different story. You only get one chance at a first impression. And my question is, what is your appearance saying about you? I have nothing but empathy for people who are not thrilled about their appearance. Okay? I wasn't either. But at the end of the day, people are judging you, at least at first, by your appearance. And I'll tell you a quick story about that. So this is Small City, Big Dreams. Kevin and I went to this 2 weekends ago or 3 weekends ago, something like that. And I was told, we were basically supposed to interview someone on stage. And it was going to be a panel. And I'll never forget, I met this man, and I was told he was a super successful entrepreneur. Now, from my standpoint, I went up to meet him, and he was successful in his business, but it looked like he hadn't taken care of himself in years, never hydrated, basically looked like he just woke up, hadn't showered in weeks. And I remember telling Kevin, like, health and fitness and self-care is so congruent and important to me. I don't know if I can interview this man on stage about success. If you can't take care of your own body, how are you supposed to be the epitome of success? We have to lead by example. So you are a walking billboard, and I think that that's super important. You only get one chance at a first impression. Leadership. This is the big one, okay? Who in here has someone in their life who you wish would take better care of themselves? Okay. People will never do what you say. I talk a lot. People will never do what you say, but they will always, almost always do what you do, especially children. They're so impressionable. We all rub off on each other. If you want to make positive change in your loved ones' lives, lead by example. This moment changed my life. So I went to the Boys and Girls Club. Power Crunch sponsored it. And I will never forget when I walked in and there was all these kids that were so excited for fitness. They saw me and they were so pumped to lift weights and to learn about hydration, sleep, nutrition, training, mobility. They were so excited to learn about health and fitness. And the only way we're going to inspire kids is by having the results that they think they want. Okay. The top 3 concepts you must implement to win in fitness. Here we go. Concept number 1, your goals must be specific. So I'm going to call out one of my friends, Matt Ryan. What is your current weight, my man? What is your goal weight, my man? He did not know I was going to do that. What I wanted to prove is there's a reason Matt looks like that. Specific goals are what matters. I could do the same thing to Kevin. You have to have a specific goal. And that's why Matt looks like he does, and some people don't have their dream physique like he does. So, and what's the time frame you want to do that in?
A couple weeks ago.
Okay. Got me. A couple weeks ago. Perfect. Yeah. All right, so concept number 1, your goals must be specific. This is what I call the magic formula. So we all have this reticular activating system in our brain. So I just bought a Subaru Legacy. Now Subaru Legacies are everywhere. My brain thinks it's relevant. My point is this. Jack Sparrow, when you're holding the compass, it goes to your heart's truest desire. If you pick a dream physique in advance, the person's places and things to help you get there will show up. I'm telling you, it's like a hack. Kanai, a commitment to constant and never-ending improvement. What if you know exactly what you want and you commit to never stop improving until you get it? And then you never quit. Like Kevin, never quit kid. What's the inevitable result of that? Your dream physique. Okay, so you have to pick a target, and we'll get into that. How hard would it be to do a puzzle when you never saw what it was supposed to look like? How do you put puzzle pieces down when you don't even know what the vision will be? If I took 2 people, one person saw the cover and one person never did, this person is going to take 10 times longer than the person who saw in advance. This is one of my things that I'm most passionate about. Choose in advance who you want to be. You have to. It's the way our brain works. Okay. I put this on my phone background. So this was me, actually 3 years ago, not 2, because this is an old slide. So this was me 3 years ago, right here. Or no, this was me 3 years ago. I'm sorry. This was me 3 years ago. I put this on my phone background when I looked like that. And people in here know that. I got made fun of for 2 full years. Wait, what are you? You got a dude on your background? What is that about, man? I was priming my subconscious mind. I chose in advance to look like Greg Plitt as my hero. He passed away. And look at how close those are. If I didn't do that, no chance. This is how I knew I won. Actually, Mark, he said, only you would have you on your background. I was like, yes. I was like, I won. I did it. He mistook me for Greg Plitt. So that's my point. Choose in advance the body you want. Find someone you admire. Be inspired. Okay. You are your associations. Now, this is interesting. This was scary when I first did this. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. We've all heard that Jim Rohn quote. These are the 5 people that I spent time with during that time. Okay, Matt's on there. Maddie, double trophies. Kevin's up there. I don't know if you noticed. He's kind of small. This is my fitness coach, Nate Smithson, my beautiful ex-girlfriend and high school sweetheart, Andrew Copeland, 120 pounds down. The point is, what would the amalgamation of these people look like? And there I am. My associations prior to being like this, there are people in this room who know what I used to look like and be like. I am different now. And it's my associations. I owe everything to them. This man especially taught us everything we know on fitness. Everything I'm teaching you today was this guy right here. He did the hard work. So mentors are everything. Okay, homework. So you can choose to do this if you'd like. I do this for my clients. I have a client in the room, Emily. Shout out to you. Write down the top 10 people who have your heart. Rate them on 2 things. The dedication to their fitness goals and their physique. You can be hardcore about this, okay? You are going to realize that the average of those 10 people is your exact rating for yourself. Guaranteed. So, concept number 3, habits. Okay, here we go. You are what you repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. Kevin talked a lot about this. If you don't take action, it doesn't matter. We can all have big, pure hearts, but if we don't act, it will not manifest. This is in New York City, and the horse wanted nothing to do with me. We're all on the horse of habit. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Our habits day to day are creating who we are every single second of every day. The neuroscience has proved this. We are on the horse of habit. The only question is, where's that horse taking us? It's not what you do once in a while that matters. It's what you do every single day. When I asked Matt his exact weight, how many people could tell me your exact weight right now? Emily, you don't count, you're a client. Okay, nice, strong work. Okay, we're gonna get into measurement in a minute, but it's what you're doing every single day to stay on track that's gonna ultimately matter. Again, I apologize for the drawings here. Trigger, behavior, reward. There's an Oreo across the room. I love Oreos, that's my trigger. My behavior is to walk over, eat the Oreo. My reward is the sugar high and the dopamine hit I get when I do it. That creates a habit. Here's the problem with habits. And we all know this is true. We don't like it, but it's true. Bad habits are easy to create and hard to destroy. Why? Because the payoff comes right away. The reward is right there for the chocolate cake. The ice water doesn't come till later. Good habits are so hard to create and so easy to destroy. Okay, 3 common traps that you must avoid to achieve your fitness goals. Now, this is fitness specifically. Trap number 1, immediate gratification. This is a big one, especially nowadays. We want what we want when we want it now. Amazon, 1 click. It's to my house in 2 days. Immediate gratification is an epidemic. Have you guys all heard of the marshmallow test? They put kids in a room, and whoever could delay gratification the longest, 10 years later, was super successful. This is my biggest secret. I delay gratification so well compared to what I used to because I know it's going to pay off. Be the tortoise. Consistency is my favorite word other than legacy, but consistency is so important. Picture a marathon, right? Everybody's so gung-ho out of the gate, but at the finish line, it's just one person after another. And it's like that's the way it is with life. We're 184 podcast episodes in. We've already seen podcasters come and go. Consistency is huge. That's why you have to choose in advance and commit. It is not the strongest, fastest, or smartest who wins in the long run. It is the most consistent. Here's the interesting thing. Tom Brady, right? Greatest quarterback ever of all time. Okay, Tom Brady is the king of consistency. If not, read his book. 9 hours of sleep a night. His habits are the reason, I'm telling you. The problem is, it appears to be the strongest, fastest, and smartest. Why? Because the most consistent person eventually becomes the strongest, fastest, and smartest. And that's the only time we see them decades later with the overnight success. Okay. This is a big one. It's an apple a day to keep the doctor away. It's not 7 apples on Sunday. Who's guilty of this one? Right? I'm going to meditate, but like 3 hours on Sunday. All right. Same deal. Trap number 2, feelings versus choices. This is interesting. We interviewed someone named Coach Bird on the podcast. World-class coach, 7-time world champion with one of the high schools that he coached. Was it high school or college? He said there's a big difference between feelings and choices. Nobody feels like going to the gym. And by the way, that's a BS story. Tell me how many times, Matt, you don't feel like going. Right, almost never. Right? Look at him. He doesn't want to go either. People think, oh, he just loves the gym. No, he doesn't. We all hate this stuff. We all hate this stuff. We just do it anyway. That's one of the successful people and unsuccessful people both hate to do what it takes to be successful. The difference is the successful people do it anyway because they want the result. Okay, here's the thing. If you go through life, that's different. Okay, you must learn the difference between a feeling and a choice. Nobody feels like it, guys. I'm going to go to the gym later tonight. Trust me, I'm not going to feel like it. Okay? But I'll tell you what, doing the hard work will never feel good. It will never feel good in the moment. But making the right choice will make you proud of yourself. We all know this stuff is true, even though the industry is just telling you, no, it's supposed to feel good. Everybody loves the gym. No, it's crap. Okay, complexity. Complexity is the enemy of execution. This is Tony Robbins, one of my heroes. Let's keep it simple. The industry is a tornado of misinformation. Why? Because they're trying to sell you protein powders. They're trying to sell you pills. They're trying to sell you quick fixes. There are no new fundamentals. I'm going to teach you the 5 fundamentals of natural fitness that actually matter. And guess what? You can't sell them. You can't sell them. That's why no one talks about them. First, I'm going to say this. Complexity is the enemy of execution. If you take a lion, put him in this room, and I took a bar stool. I took this right here. It's going to see 4 threats coming at it simultaneously, and it's going to go docile because it can't focus. We're all doing that all the time in fitness because it's like, oh my God, drink this much and do this. And it's all, we need a simple plan that we execute on every single day, and we need to be focused on the long run. We need to ignore the tornado of misinformation of people trying to sell you stuff and go back to the fundamentals. I'm going to teach you those. Okay, so how? The 5 daily habits that will create your dream physique. Alan, stop philosophizing. All over us, tell us what to do. Okay, here we go. Sleep, hydration, nutrition, training, and mobility. These are the fundamentals. These are the things that matter, and these are the things that you cannot sell. And by the way, they're in order of most importance based on what you will die without. You will die without sleep quicker than you will die without water. You will die without water quicker than you will die without food. You will die without food quicker than you will die without exercise. And you will die without exercise quicker than you will die without stretching. Luckily for Matt. Just kidding. All right, there are no new fundamentals. Having a strong, healthy body is sexy. What it takes to achieve is so not sexy. It's not even funny. It's not sexy at all. It's mundane. It's boring. It sucks. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. All right. What I don't want you to say in your head is, Alan, I already know this. Am I doing this? Have I mastered this? And most importantly, would my physique prove that I've mastered this? We all know this stuff. I'm not the first one to tell you that sleep's important. Hydration's important. Nutrition's important. Training and mobility. But are you doing it every single day? That's the question. So, sleep. 8 hours, quality, uninterrupted sleep. Here's some hacks, earplugs. They'll save your life. It's not the amount of time you spend in bed. It's the amount of time you spend in REM. Don't keep getting interrupted throughout the night, unless it's for something worth it. Just kidding. And there it is. We'll cut that out of the video. All right. Also, phone on silent. Don't let your phone buzz all night. The whole world's just bombarding you all the time. And then no checking your phone in between. We're all guilty of that. I do it sometimes, but it definitely hurts your sleep. Now, why sleep? Muscles recover faster. It eliminates brain waste. So we have So we have a lymphatic system. If I jump up and down, it'll clean out the cells in my body. Okay? Our brain doesn't have that. It only uses cerebral fluid at night to clear out the gunk in our brain. So when you wake up foggy and not feeling like a superhero, it's because you're not getting good enough sleep. Boosts your immune system so you aren't sick as much, regulates hormone levels, higher performance, more resourceful states, and work smarter. Now here's one of the things. I think of willpower as like the battery on my phone. When you dial up the brightness on your phone, how quick does the battery die? I take power naps. This is a hack. You sleep for an hour, it's just like you charge your phone for 20 minutes or an hour, and it's back to 90%. It's not 100%. So power naps. JFK never missed a nap. Huge hero of mine, great orator. Nap. Okay, hydration. I think you should be drinking at least 0.6 times your body weight. For me, my current body weight is 184, so that's 110 ounces a day. So I always have this on my person. Remember that habit loop I told you about? Trigger, behavior, reward. This is my trigger. You'll almost never catch me without this. So whenever I see this, it reminds me to drink. And also the spout is bigger, so I can drink more in less time. I'm crazy, I know. Okay, you should be peeing at least once an hour. This is the main bottleneck. If you ask my clients, they hate it. They always tell me, I'm peeing all day. I know, it sucks, but it's better than being dehydrated. Coffee doesn't count, soda doesn't count, milk doesn't count. Alcohol definitely doesn't count. For those of you drinking tonight, I apologize for the next slide. You can have a six-pack, or you can drink a six-pack, never both. Okay, the people who have both are either on steroids or they're freaks of nature like Matt. Okay. Nutrition. Energy balance is number one. So one of the biggest problems that I notice with people is that they're so focused on what they're eating, but they're not focused on how much. So calories and energy unit, and you need to understand your own caloric needs, and we'll get into that briefly. Also, most people are trying to chase two rabbits, and they're going to catch neither. What I mean by that is, how many people do you know that are trying to burn fat and build muscle simultaneously? It's not doable unless you're on drugs, I'll be honest. And if you do, it's very inefficient, and you're not going to see any progress, you're going to lose motivation. Don't try to do both. I have my clients on muscle building phases and then fat burning phases. The key is at the tail end of their muscle building phase, they have more muscle, and yes, you gain a little bit of fat, but then you can burn the fat and retain the muscle. So that eventually, over time, and I'll show you the graphs. Here's a graph of one of my clients. This is my most consistent client. I apologize, Emily. This is not your graph. Okay, this is Monique's graphs. So she is the most consistent ever. If you don't think weight and calories are correlated, I have all the data to prove it. I've been tracking all my clients' caloric intake every day since they started working with me. They're exactly correlated. So all you need to do is understand your own caloric needs, and I'll get to the next slide here. As long as the scale is moving in the right direction at the right rate, change nothing. As soon as it's not, you want to adjust your training or your nutrition accordingly. So for example, if my goal is to build muscle, I'm going to make sure I'm in a caloric surplus. Let me find that slide. So, calories in versus calories out. So right now, I'm eating approximately 2,300 calories per day. I'm actually in a fat burning phase right now because I'm trying to lean out. So my calories out, I would argue, are probably around 28 to 3,000, depending on whether or not I train that day. The key is the 700 calorie deficit, the net is greater than 0, then you're weight gaining. If it's less than 0, you're losing weight. So I'm 700 calories lower than my body burns in a given 24 hours. Therefore, I'm always going to lose weight. All of the people that you saw in those slides that were in shape do this. If you don't know your caloric intake daily, it's like trying to become wealthy without tracking your bank account. Okay? Money in versus money spent, I know how much I can invest, reinvest the earnings for compounded growth. It's the same idea with fitness. Numbers, life is a numbers game. People who are good at numbers are good at success. Just start tracking your numbers. Okay, training. Weight training, I think, is the most underrated thing in the world. Now, I may or may not be biased, but we were at Brendan Burchard's event, like Kevin mentioned, and he said, get in a group and talk to everyone about the top 3 things you did with your health that made the biggest difference. Weight training 3 times. everyone of my friends who is super in shape and into fitness knows the benefits of weight training. Now, here's the thing. Person A and person B. If person A weight trains to burn 500 calories versus person B does cardio to burn 500 calories, the person A is going to retain more muscle. If me and Emily, you mind if I pick you out? If me and Emily were to walk a mile, I'm going to burn almost twice as many calories as her in the same time, at the same pace. Do you know why? Okay. Muscle mass, it's like investing versus savings account. Okay? Weight training is way more effective long term. Cardio will never give you the physique of your dreams. You need muscle mass. Your hormones will be better. You'll look better. You'll be more motivated. Trust me, weight training, if you're not doing it, it'll make you... I have a 69-year-old mentor who started weight training. He's like, it's changed my life. Oh my God, it's incredible. And we played Mercy. He's really strong. He's really strong. Either that or I'm really weak. Either way. Okay, so here we go. The big 5 workouts. This one, I mainly just want to say, if you don't have guidance in this arena, get it. The mentor thing Kevin talked about, Nate Smithson, me, Matt, and Kevin would not be who or look the way we do without Nate Smithson. Find someone 10 years ahead of you and learn from them. Be a sponge. Choosing a gym. How close is it to your bed? Absolutely. No, don't be sorry. You're good. So I'll elaborate too. So between squats, bench press, deadlifts, overhead press, and barbell rows, that's every muscle in the human body being worked. So these are the fundamentals. They suck. But if you do them, your caloric output's going to be highest, your muscle stimulation is going to be the highest. All the people that I know that are in great shape do these 5 regularly, usually twice a week minimum. Okay, choosing a gym. If you don't go to the gym, I highly recommend it because you're going to meet people who are into fitness. And the associations are going to matter most. How often do we talk about fitness? Every day. Okay, what you talk about, you act on. What you act on gets results and makes you want to talk about it more. Get around people who love fitness. If the people around you don't love fitness, you're not going to be fit. It is what it is. Trust me, I lived there for a long time. Okay, how close is the gym to your bed? The amount of willpower that it's going to take for you to get to the gym is predicated on the energy your subconscious knows it will take to get there. Don't give yourself excuse. Get somewhere close. Make sure it's 24 hours so when the mood strikes, you can go. And the environment matters. Get into an environment with really high standards. The quickest way to get in shape is get around people that are in way better shape than you. So get somewhere where the standards, they're not just gonna be lackadaisical. Get a coach or a gym partner. Every time I work out with Matt, I feel super weak. We throw on 1 plate, we warm up doing deadlifts. We throw on 2 plates, still warming up. Throw on 3 plates. I'm like, all right, I can do this. He throws on 4 plates. Dude. Then he goes to 5. He's like, yeah, man, I'm just warming up. It's ridiculous. But it's so motivating. And he's so supportive too, and he helps me. So get around people that are better than you. Mobility. This is how you stay injury-free. Because if you do get injured, you're going to be losing your apple a day. You're going to lose your consistency, and then you're going to say, oh, I was on track. Who here can remember a time when they were on point with their health goals? Do you miss that? There's nothing better, in my opinion. Money doesn't buy happiness. Health does. Health does. It really does. I'm so passionate about this. Okay, so mobility is going to keep you mobile, and it's going to make sure you don't get injured so that you don't fall off your consistency. How am I doing on time? 36 minutes. Okay, good. Why mobility? Injury prevention, less aches and pains. You're going to feel better, increases blood flow, increases performance so you can keep up with Matt. Faster recovery, promotes muscle growth. You must have consistent feedback. Now this, some people don't like. Peter Drucker, if you know him, what gets measured gets managed. How often are you checking in with something? Okay? Progress pictures. How often, so Kevin and I have an advantage because we're on camera all the time. A lot of people think that people in Hollywood are in shape, and that's why they're in Hollywood. I'm telling you, they're in shape because they're on camera, and they see it all the time. We can't slide. As soon as we slide, we're like, oh, jeez, man. Have you ever been at a party, someone tagged you on Facebook, and you went, oh my God, is that me? I've been there so many times. The consistent feedback. Do it for yourself. Get a coach. They'll hold you accountable. 3 critical numbers that I track my clients every single day. They wake up in the morning. First thing they do, before they eat, after they pee, they step on the scale. Emily, you can attest to this. They send me that number. They also send me their previous day's calories, and they send me their previous day's training. So if they're not losing weight at the right rate, all I do is tell them to train more or eat less, or a combination of both. So we're always on track because we're always measuring it. Imagine a wealthy person who never checks their bank account, right? It doesn't happen. So you have to, this is the same idea. You will never change your life until you change something that you do daily. This is my big 5 to thrive. So all of the philosophizing that I did today, I know it was heavy, I know it was a lot, comes down to 5 things that if you did these 5 things every day, you would have your dream physique, no question. And then people would be like, what happened? What are you doing? What kind of fitness plan did you get on? And you'd have to say, honestly, it's the accumulation of the small, seemingly insignificant choices that I made every day for the last 10 years, or 5 years, or 3 years. Most people want it in 3 months. It's never going to happen. The body transforms naturally. It takes a long, long time. How long have you been doing fitness, Kev?
Oh, God. 12 years.
Right. Consistently?
6 years.
Matt, how long have you been weight training?
All the same.
Okay. I have been consistent for 4 years, and this is just the beginning. You guys can do it too. You saw the picture of me. That wasn't genetics. Okay. 8 hours quality sleep, uninterrupted sleep. Drink 0.6 ounces of water per day per pound of body weight. Don't drink all of it during your gym session and then only like 20 or 30 ounces later in the day. Hit your daily calories and macros as closely as possible. Now this, you can guess at first, see where the scale moves, and then increase or decrease it accordingly. So for example, if you just say, okay, I'm going to eat 1,600 calories today, and I'm going to do that for 1 week. If the scale in that time doesn't go down, then it means you're either even or in a caloric surplus. So then you just drop it to 15. And then eventually you drop it to 14. And then to 13. What most people do, unfortunately, is they say, that's it. That wedding's coming up or New Year's is coming up. That's it. I'm going to go from not tracking at all, eating high calorie foods to now chicken salads. And they go from 2,200 calories a day down to 12. Their body freaks out. They lose a ton of weight in 2 months, and then they get it all back 2 months later because there was no metabolic wiggle room over time that they did incrementally. You have to have a system. That's really what I'm trying to get across. You have to have a system and get around people who have a system so that you can stick to the system. Weight train for at least 30 minutes a day. This will change your life. You'll feel better. Your hormone levels will be better. You'll feel like a superhero. Do yoga, stretch, or foam roll at least 15 minutes per day. Unless you have a masseuse, in which case you can skip all that nonsense. But this is the big 5 to thrive. And if you do this every single day, it will absolutely change your life. So how do I track my caloric intake? I just explained that. I'm going to say a poem that Les Brown, it's one of my favorite poems of all time. He says this: if you want something bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, if you'd gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, if you simply go after that thing that you want with all your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold, poverty, famish, or gaunt, nor sickness or pain or body and brain can keep you away from that thing that you want, if neither darker than grim, you besiege and beset it. With the help of God, you'll get it. The thing is, you cannot treat this stuff casually anymore. Everyone wants this, but do they want that? Guys, it does suck. And that's the one thing I'll tell you. If you want that, you have to want this. I do not wish for you to have an easy life, but a deeply meaningful one. I do not wish for you to take the common path, but the challenging and far more rewarding one. And I do not wish for you to do what makes you happy, but rather to do what makes you great. Because what makes you great is going to make you happy. Thank you, Joyce.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed our speeches. If you want more, go to www.thehyperconsciouspodcast.com/events. We will always have our latest and greatest upcoming speeches available there.
Folks, Kevin and I set the intention to speak at least once a month, if not more than that, from now on until forever. Kevin actually just said recently that he enjoys speaking as much as podcasting.
I do?
That means we're going to do more and more and more of it. So please come and join us, take pictures with us, meet us. We want to build a community of not just people through this audio, but also we want to meet you all in person.
Yes. And make sure you answer the questions that both Alan and I asked at the end, because again, motivation and inspiration come and go, but when you go to a speech, when you watch a training program, it's important to take action then, because that is when the motivation is highest.
The last thing I want to say really quickly here is not only to second what Kevin just said about taking action immediately. Don't just watch a speech. Make sure it changed something that you do every single day. But even if you don't go to networking events and see speeches by us, make sure you're doing networking events more consistently, because you're going to cultivate confidence as well.
Thank you, guys, and we will talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.